Hello, and thank you for attending today's training session on McAfee spam protection and email encryption. Due to an ever-increasing amount of spam that is bypassing the league's spam filters, as well as the need for HIPAA and PCI compliance, and for disaster recovery, the league is moving to a cloud solution for spam and email protection. Cloud computing simply means that the services, both software and hardware, are being provided by an outside contractor. After evaluating a variety of solutions, we have decided on McAfee's MX product, an industry leader that deals with spam and virus protection on a 24/7/365 basis. MX has a highly sophisticated and robust spam and antivirus defense system that is proactive in keeping up with spammer and antivirus trends. Today we're going to look at the benefits of the MX solution. We'll look at some current stats in regards to spam and emails. We'll look at how the product is going to work, what you can expect. We'll go through a quick overview of the MX product, and then we'll have a couple links at the end of the session that, should you choose to, you could view a little bit more about the products. Let's first talk about the many benefits that this product is affording the Florida League of Cities. First of all, this product is going to give you more control of emails that are quarantined, whether to let them through or not. No more calling and waiting on IT to check to see if a message has been quarantined or blocked. You'll be able to go into your own special section of the McAfee product and check to see if you have quarantine messages. You will receive a daily spam quarantine report, which will let you know whether you received any quarantines the previous day. There is a approved sender and a reject sender list that you can decide what addresses always come through and what addresses are always rejected. One of my favorite things that this product provides the league is the ability to easily encrypt email messages. No more using FLC secure mail to send encrypted messages, which is great. You're going to see less messages being quarantined and more spam being blocked, which means more legitimate email coming through than ever before. And finally, as an added bonus, there is a business email continuity piece. Should our emails system suffer a catastrophic failure or we're out of the water for an extended period of time, we would be able to go online to the McAfee product and check and receive emails and send emails through McAfee itself. So just another added layer of protection in addition to all this. Some spam stats we just wanted to go through. We receive about 1.2 million emails per month, and of those 1.2 million emails, we reject about 1.1 million emails. 92% of all email we receive is considered spam, and most of this is rejected before we even see it in the quarantine section. I'd say on a daily basis, currently we probably look at 300 to 400 quarantines a day. And with the McAfee product, through our testing, we found that this is going to be significantly decreased. Sending and receiving of internet emails, these are only emails that we receive from the outside world or send to the outside world. We send approximately 60,000 emails per month. We receive approximately 57,000 emails per month, and that's an average of 649 internet emails per person per month, or 21 emails per day. How the quarantine spam protection works currently is an email sent, goes through the internet, and it goes straight to the firewall and then to our email firewall, where the rules we have set up in the program we have set up tries to determine whether the email's spam or should be left through, and the ones that it's not sure about, it sets aside as quarantine, where IT will look at it and try to determine whether it's a legit email or not. It goes to our email server and then to you. Well, what's going to happen here is the email is going to get sent through the internet. It's going to remain in the internet, where McAfee and MX will use its robust rules and spam fighting techniques to determine whether or not to block the message, to allow the message through, or to leave it in quarantine where you'll be able to access it. Now, when it goes through, it will go through our firewall, but we will no longer have our email firewall in place, so it will go from firewall to our email system servers to you. Now, what to expect? On Wednesday, June 6, 2012 at 5 p.m., we will be cutting over to the McAfee MX Logic product. There will be little to no action on your part. You're still going to be checking your emails through Outlook as you did since you started at the league. Since we've been doing email at the league, we've been using Outlook, and we're continuing on with Outlook. You are going to see less spam getting through. If you receive a quarantine message, you will get an email message that says you have a message in quarantine via your daily spam quarantine report. One thing to look out for is you will receive more incoming legitimate emails such as newsletters and marketing materials. Currently, a lot of the legitimate emails, newsletters come through, hit our email firewall, and IT has to determine whether it's legit or not. And it's hard to tell in the system we have, so a lot of times the legitimate emails were getting blocked. So these might come through. We'll talk about how to deal with those newsletters you don't want in upcoming slides. Now, to get on your McAfee Control Console, the Technology Services Department will provide you with a link, and we will provide you with your own login and password. So when we send that to you via email, you'll have the link here, and you type in your email address, which is your username, and the password, which we will provide to you. Click Sign In. The first time you do this, you'll have to create a security question. So if you forget your password or lose your password, you answer the security question, and they'll send you a reset password link. So you answer this question, click OK, and the first tab you're going to come to is the Quarantine tab. Now we'll go over the Quarantine tab a little bit later on, but first I want to go into the Control Console itself. So let's log in. Excuse me. Type in the password, click Sign In, and you can see it takes you straight to the Quarantine tab. Again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, let's look at the Preferences tab. This is where you can set and change your password. You can change your security question, change your time zone, language, the entries of quarantine items per page, 25 is default. How often you receive your spam quarantine report, we have it set to default every day. Your content of what the report contains, which is new items since the last report. And then you see this box down here, which is Spam Quarantine Report Alternate Delivery Address. This gives you the ability to put in an alternate email address should you be out of town, on vacation, at a conference. You can have someone else in the organization check your quarantine reports or receive the spam quarantine email just by putting in their email address, and they would receive the report, not you. We'll go over quarantine in a few minutes. Email continuity, again, is if we have a disaster and our email systems are down, this will get turned on and you would be able to check your email via web client. It remains off until there is a disaster, so you won't see anything in this tab. The Allowed Senders tab and Block Senders tab, they're similar in use, so I'm only going to go through the Allowed Senders tab at this time. To add an allowed sender from the Control Console, you would type in the email address, click New, and it's in there. You can also add domains by doing *@ cityofwonders.com. Hit New, and you have a whole domain will be in there and an email address in there. Hit Apply, and those email address and domain are in there. To delete items out here, you can check the delete box, hit Apply, and they're gone. And it's the same for adding email addresses to block senders. We'll talk about those actually right now. Now, the Allowed Senders tab. I would only use this if an email gets blocked. Say you receive an email from a city and it gets sent to the quarantine area. From the quarantine area, you can add that address into your approved sender. We'll show you how to do that a little bit later. But I wouldn't just go start typing in email addresses, one at a time. One of the things we are doing is we have a giant list of city and county domains that we already have whitelisted in our current system, and we have uploaded those to the McAfee system. So say like cityofwinterhaven.com is already an approved domain. so you wouldn't have to put that in there. So again, only add something if it gets quarantined. You're only allowed 300 entries, which can be a full email address or a domain, but be careful with the domains, because if you say set *@yahoo.com to the approved senders, that means all messages from yahoo.com will come through, and you don't want that. Now, items that you add to the approved senders list will come through automatically unless, of course there's an unless, it contains a virus. If it contains a virus, the message will be rejected and not even sent into quarantine. There are specific content rules we have set up globally, and those are profanity, sexually oriented content, or racially oriented content will be quarantined, where you would have to check the content. Even if you had that email address as an approved sender, it's still going to get quarantined. And then we do have a global block list where certain addresses may be added for whatever reason. The block senders tab, on this tab you have 200 entries allowed. Again, full email addresses and domains, but again, be careful with the domains, because if you block everything from yahoo.com or cityofwinterhaven.com, it doesn't matter what the email address is. If it has that domain, it's going to be blocked, so be careful. Legitimate newsletters. Try to use the unsubscribe link within a legitimate newsletter as much as possible. Don't add these from addresses to your block senders tab, because what happens is these newsletters change from addresses all the time. So you might block that address and you're good for a month or two, then all of a sudden you start receiving the newsletter again that you blocked. It's because they've changed their email address, and I've seen them change email addresses 3-4 times in a year for whatever reason. So use your unsubscribe link. If it's a legit newsletter, they will honor it. And if you have any questions, you can't determine whether it's legit or not, you can always ask us in IT, and we'd be glad to help. All right, the quarantine tab, the meat of the product. When you go into your quarantine tab, you'll have a list of all the messages that have been quarantined. You can see the date they were sent, who it's from, the subject, and the size of the message. And you have, actually it's going to be 5 actions up top. You have release. Release means if you check a box, say this is a legitimate email, you would check this box, click release, the message will be sent through to your email. If you check a message and click always allow, it will send that message through to you, but also add the from email to your approved senders list. There is an always deny link where if you select this one and click always deny, it deletes the message as spam and adds that from address to your block senders list, and delete will just delete the message. Now if you're looking at the screen and you know that these are all spam, you could check this box here, hit delete, it deletes as spam, or always deny, and it will add every single address to your sender blacklist. Always allow will send those messages to your sender whitelist, and release will release them through. So you can choose them all or multiple ones to send through, or you can do them one at a time. You can also double click on a message and it brings up the actual message. So if you're looking here and you're like, wow, I don't know if this beauty regime is a legitimate email, you can double click on it or click check and view, and it will take you to a safe area to view the message where you can see the from address, the subject, the date, any attachments. You can't open the attachments because again we're in a safe area and it won't let you do that. You can see the text of the message. The links are not active, so you can't accidentally click on a bad link. And from here you can do the same as before. You can release the message through. You can always allow, which adds the from to the approved senders. Delete the message as spam, or always deny. So very easy to do. So that was just a little bit of the quarantine tab and how to deal with it. Now, if you receive a quarantine email, say the previous day, the next morning, you'll have a spam quarantine report email in your inbox. The nice thing about this is if you click on the links from this email, it allows you to access the control console without entering a password. This report is emailed once a day. If you did not receive a quarantine report, then you did not receive any quarantine messages. It allows you to decide what to do in the email, and these links stay active for 7 days, so you can go back 7 days to check your quarantine. Now, this is a little of what the quarantine report will look like. It gives definitions of what each link is up here in the top, and this is on all emails. You can see to view quarantine items for a particular day, click on View Quarantine Items for this day. You can click that. Click Release here to release a single email. So again, you can just look at all the items on here. Always Allow will always allow this message through. Will allow the message through and always allow this sender to be added to your approved list. Now, I would always use this View List of all quarantine messages. I would always use that one, because if you click on Release, it's going to take you into your Spam Quarantine tab. If you click on this, into this message only. If you click on this, it takes you into your control console, and you'll see all these emails that have been quarantined, and you can deal with them, you know, all at one time or one at a time should you choose. So I always recommend use your View List of all quarantine messages. And when we click on that, it brings up our quarantines for the day. And again, we went over what we can do. Release will release a single message. Always Allow will release a single message to your box and add the address to your approved senders. You got Delete will delete that message out, and Always Deny will delete the message and add that sender to the banned senders list. And again, to look at a single message, you would double click on the message, or you could check the box and click View, or check all the boxes and click Delete or Release, whatever you want to do. So again, here's the message you would see if you clicked on a single message, and you have the same Release, Always Allow, Always Deny, and Delete is in there. So it's very simple to use. And of course, if you ever have any questions, definitely feel free to contact us in Technology Services, and we'll be glad to help. Now, one of my favorite parts of this presentation is getting to talk to you about email encryption. Now, emails can be encrypted from any device that's hooked into your League email. iPhone, iPad, Android, Windows Phone, even a BlackBerry, and of course your PC. External users will read messages in a web browser in a secure web session. Our internal users, to send secure encrypted emails, will simply use Outlook. No more logging into FLC Secure Mail. You also have the ability to send encrypted emails to multiple recipients. Currently, it's a one-to-one relationship. So if you had to send the same email encrypted to 3 different people, you'd have to send 3 different emails. And this will allow us to phase away from FLC Secure Mail at some point in time. So all you have to do to encrypt an email is use the word encrypt in open bracket and close bracket. So in the subject line, you type open bracket, encrypt, close bracket, and then your subject line, and the system will know to encrypt the email. Also, the system will automatically encrypt social security numbers, credit card information, and HIPAA and PCI related information. This will even scan through attachments that you have attached to an email. Now, I wouldn't rely on the system to encrypt it. I would always use the keyword. It's so easy just to type in bracket, encrypt, bracket, because there's certain attachments that the system will not be able to read through, such as images or password protected PDFs or password protected Word documents and so on. So how do you create an encrypted email? In Outlook, simply type encrypt in brackets in the subject line, all lowercase, just as you see it here. Bracket, encrypt, bracket, all lowercase. In the subject line, then you type your subject line, and once it sees that encrypt, it's going to send an encrypted email to your recipient. If the email has a social security number in it and attachments as well in this format, it will be encrypted. And the same goes for credit card information in this format, as well as American Express format. So what happens when you send an encrypted email? The recipient will receive an account registration email that will have them create their account, create their username and password, and once they do that, they will be logged in to view the message, and they can read the message and respond back to you. Responses will come to your Outlook inbox. That's all there is to it. It's very similar to what we had to do for FLC Secure Mail. Each user who used this would create their own account. It's the same thing. Very easy to do. Now, real quick, again, we are cutting over on Wednesday, June 6th at 5 p.m. If you have any questions about this, please let us know. Also, there are a couple of training videos that McAfee has put together that is on our resource site. So if you go to our intranet and go to resources and then go to training materials, these links will be up there. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact any one of us in Technology Services. Thank you very much for attending.